Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. You are tuned in to We Reflect the Light newscast, where we keep you informed on what's going on in the world and how it will affect the original nation and what to expect any day, sisters and brothers. My name is Nicolette Hodge, and today's focus is the war in the Middle East and the outcome revealed in the Injil. We will identify America's economic collapse and the danger the original black man and original black woman are in. We will identify the destruction of false Israel. We will also identify the original nation's 400-year experience of horror. And we will highlight the equality of the original man and woman, while informing you of the sacrifice the original black woman has made and the reward she has earned. Our next speaker is Brother Malik.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Malik Hodge, and this is We Reflect the Light. This is where we look at current events that are taking place in the world today through the lens of the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. That gives us detailed information on what's taking place in the world and what is going to take place from the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. Sisters and brothers, we are at war. Today, sisters and brothers, the war in heaven, the war in the Middle East, is rapidly heating up, intensifying. Right now, there's no end in sight to this war. Sisters and brothers, this war is directly connected to the original black man and woman here in the hills of North America. Sisters and brothers, America, false Israel, Britain, and the House of Saudi Arabia is in scripture styled as the dragon and the angels of the dragon. And the dragon and his angels will be at war with Michael and his angels. Sisters and brothers, Michael is Master Farad Muhammad, and his angels are Iran and Syria. Now, sisters and brothers, as of now, we're witnessing America, Britain, and false Israel, as well as the House of Saudi Arabia the Gulf state, attacking Iran. Sisters and brothers, America and false Israel has moved as far as to bomb the Iranian nuclear sites or nuclear plants. Sisters and brothers, the level that America and false Israel are willing, as well as Britain, are willing to take or go. There's no limits, no red lines that they haven't crossed and will not cross. Sisters and brothers, America, false Israel, Britain, and the House of Side are desperate in responding to what Iran is doing to them, or how capable Iran is in striking facilities all over the Middle East. Sisters and brothers, they have no answer for what Iran is doing. So they will like and are asking for a ceasefire. Or to have some diplomatic talks. However, sisters and brothers, Iran has given their demands. And their demands are for America first to get out the Middle East, close its military bases and leave the Middle East, pay reparations to Iran for their illegal attacks on Iran. Make a agreement or to never attack Iran again. And Iran wants to, not wants, demands to have the right to do what they would like to do when it comes to their nuclear projects. However, Iran still states up into today that their nuclear ambitions are all peaceful. They're not trying to obtain a nuclear weapon. Sisters and brothers, America and false Israel attacked Iran during peaceful negotiations. This attack that took place on the 1st of March or the night of the 28th or the 1st of March. Let's say the 1st of March. This attack was not the first attack on Iran during peaceful negotiations. America and false Israel attacked on June 12th, 2025 during peaceful negotiations. This last attack on the 1st, sisters and brothers, killed Iran's supreme leader, his wife, his daughter, and his granddaughter. Wounding or that's wounding his son, who is now the supreme leader. In that same attack, America and false Israel bombed two schools, two girl schools, killing 160 children, young children. sisters and brothers, what we're witnessing is the war in heaven. And this war is going to spill over, in their words, into World War III. Now, from the scriptures, this war that you're witnessing, that we're witnessing right now, is going to go into the war of Armageddon, which is a European war. Sisters and brothers, this war is only being spoken on before the first bomb dropped, up into right now, of what is about to occur, what the outcome will be. And this information has been given by the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, Master Suleiman, Joshua the Messiah, in detail for the original black man and woman. Sisters and brothers, this detailed message, clear, perfect message of what is taking place, why it's taking place, and what the outcome will be, is given to us from the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. For the original black man and woman could have the knowledge, the understanding of what is taking place and what to do, how this war is going to affect us, what the outcome of this war will be. This is from the unsealed scriptures, sisters and brothers. Prophecy given by Joshua the Messiah, the messenger of the covenant, for us the original black man and woman to be successful. Sisters and brothers, Scripture has given, let me say it like this. Scripture have been given the understanding of what has been taking place in the Middle East since 2023. Sisters and brothers, unsealed, explained of what was and is and will be. A perfect, clear message. Sisters and brothers, the truth of what is taking place is being blocked from our people. The understanding of what is taking place is being blocked from our people. Sisters and brothers, we as a people have to look at what is taking place and bring and search for the understanding of what is taking place have to do with us. Sisters and brothers, the abomination of desolation that was the introduction war to the war that we're witnessing right now. The abominable, cruel destruction of the Palestinian people. Sisters and brothers, Matthew 24 states, 24:15. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand. So, abomination, abominable, means exactly what false Israel carried out on the Palestinian people. False Israel attacked or suppressed the Palestinian people for uprising against them. And they suppressed the Palestinian or Hamas's uprising with abominable, cruel destruction. Sisters and brothers, the world has been witnessing genocide being carried out in the face of the world. This genocide is being carried out by the nations that claim that they're God's chosen people. The nation that they claim that they are the saviors of the world, the police of the world, those that follow laws and have laws to keep the nations from carrying out these crimes. Because by law, America and false Israel, who are carrying out this abomination, funding this abomination, supplying this abomination, they're the ones carrying it out. And the West, those that are ruling the world, the UN, well, let's say it like this, NATO, are not condemning what false Israel and America are doing. Now, this genocide continues to this very moment. Sisters and brothers, Scripture states when you see this abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, when you see this abomination taking place in the holy place, what holy place? The Holy Land. That's what they call that Jerusalem or Palestine, the Holy Land. When you see this abomination, let the reader understand. Sisters and brothers, this abomination, Scripture states, look, when you see this abomination, this is a warning, a message that gives us the understanding of the time that we are in. So, the abomination of desolation, when you see this abomination, understand the reader, understand the time. Sisters and brothers, when you see the abomination that causes desolation, standing where it does not belong, let the reader understand. Again, when you see the abomination that causes desolation, destruction, standing where it does not belong, let the reader understand. Sisters and brothers, false Israel does not belong in the Middle East. False Israel is causing destruction all through the region and all over the planet. False Israel is the reason for what's taking place right now, not just in the Middle East, but the effect that is being felt throughout the world. False Israel claims that they are God's chosen people and that they are entitled to do what they want to do, no matter the effect on others now. Sisters and brothers, since 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, before 2023, 2022, 2021. The messenger of the covenant has been giving us detailed information for 30 years, but since 2020, the detailed information from Scripture standpoint and what the unsealed Scriptures, the understanding of what was going to take place. Now, sisters and brothers, All right. So we're witnessing, no, the abomination of desolation. Now, that was when and before and as that was taking place, it was being shared with us that this war is going to escalate to into a war between false Israel, America, Britain, and the dragon, the house of Saudi Arabia. And the dragon and his angels would be at war with Michael, who is Master Farah Muhammad, and his angels, which are Iran and Syria. Sisters and brothers, the scripture states and has been shared with us, but when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then recognize that Jerusalem's desolation, Jerusalem's destruction is near. Then those who are in Judea must flee to the mountains, and those who are inside the city must leave, and those who are in the country must not enter into the city, because these are the days of punishment, so that all things which have been written will be fulfilled. Woe to those women who are pregnant, and to those who are nursing babies in these days, for there will be great distress upon the land, and wrath to this people. Sisters and brothers, America and false Israel attacked Iran. Now, sisters and brothers, the outcome of this war, the war has been explained from prophecy of the countries or the participants in this war. And the outcome of this war is also given to us in detail. Sisters and brothers, the war in heaven has been on since the escalation of the war in heaven. Let's say it like that. beginning June of 2025. And the pause of war resumed in the pause from war, the pause in the war resumed in January, around the 11th, with the attack from false Israel and America once again on Iran. Sisters and brothers, America will be thrown out of the Middle East. False Israel will be sieged and then destroyed. Britain will be thrown out the Middle East. The monarchy, the House of Saudi Arabia, will be thrown out of the Middle East, out of Arabia. Sisters and brothers, this, excuse me, wrong one. This war, Scripture state from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. This war, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes up on them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. Now, sisters and brothers, what is taking place? False Israel, Netanyahu, went to the UN making this claim of this Abraham's Accord, this peace agreement that will bring peace and prosperity to the Middle East. Now, that took place, I want to say, on the 22nd of September. October 7th, Hamas attacked false Israel. Now, this war that we're witnessing, sisters and brothers, has escalated as if a woman was in labor or pregnant. The contractions, the kicking, the contracting of the pregnancy were coming at every 5 minutes or every 7 minutes. And now it has intensified, and this war has become greater, and the contractions are hitting every 30 seconds, every minute. Something's occurring, taking place in this war. This is what it means that that sudden destruction will come up on them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. So they will not escape. The war is intensifying by the moment. In America, in false Israel, is trying to find a way out. Sisters and brothers, the pressure that America and false Israel is up under is causing America and false Israel to become more violent every second, because they know they have lost control of the situation, and they see that their plan has backfired. Sisters and brothers, now they're willing to do to take this into extreme measures because they're losing. They're getting their ass whipped by Iran in the face, in the eye, in the face of the world, the nations of the world. And America is made to look weak. False Israel made to look weak. Their allies cannot be protected by them. Sisters and brothers, America and false Israel is now calling on their allies to come assist in this war. They're calling on Germany, France, and these other nations to join them against Iran. Sisters and brothers, Iran will not back down. And this war is not going to subside at all. Sisters and brothers, America is going to continue in this war trying to defend false Israel. America cannot allow false Israel to be destroyed. Sisters and brothers, this is directly connected to us, the original black man and woman here in America. Now, sisters and brothers, no one is speaking on what is taking place, what is going to take place, and has shared with you beforehand of what you're witnessing. The outcome of what you're witnessing has been shared with you in detail. No one is sharing this with you from the unsealed scriptures. No one. Sisters and brothers, we are responsible for our children, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters. We are responsible for ourselves. We are responsible for our nation. We are responsible for the information that we are using to determine what's taking place, what is happening in our face, what is being paid attention to. What are we doing to prepare for what is being shared with us? We are responsible for accepting this message that has been given to us that is clear, perfect, and perfect, that has been given to us to be successful. Now, sisters and brothers, America excuse me, remove these so we won't get that feedback on these phones. Wow. Has to back false Israel because of their religious eschatology. Sisters and brothers, false Israel was set up in 1948 to counter Elijah Muhammad's claim that we, the original black man and woman here in the hills of North America, are Abraham's seed. Sisters and brothers, America, Britain, as well as Saudi Arabia, America and Britain set false Israel in the Middle East. This was to block the truth that Elijah Muhammad was sharing with us and the world. This was to keep us from seeing ourselves as the true seed of Abraham. And this religious eschatology, this religious narration of the scriptures has been pushed on us through doctrine from these preachers, these churches. Sisters and brothers, all you have been hearing is that false Israel is God's chosen people. The world has been blessing false Israel. America pays money out to false Israel each year by the millions. Britain protects and pays false Israel. Sisters and brothers, America is Magog. Excuse me. Excuse me. Mother of God. Let's say it like this. Britain and America. America came out of Britain. Britain and America produced false Israel. Britain and America set false Israel in the Middle East to say that false Israel is God's chosen people. So that we as a people wouldn't see ourselves as God's chosen people. And the religious eschatology that's been fed to the original black man and woman is that false Israel is God's chosen people. Now, sisters and brothers, America and Britain must back false Israel's narrative. They have to protect false Israel and this religious eschatology or this religious narrative that they have given to the world, that they have used against the nation of the world. And false Israel is using to this very moment for the reason of why they can do as they please to other nations. Sisters and brothers, our rise will bring them to their destruction. The knowledge of who we are is being blocked. False Israel is claiming to be us, sisters and brothers. So, false Israel is going to be sieged and destroyed so that that religious eschatology, that lie that America and false Israel, America and Britain and false Israel is using against the nations is going to be removed. So, sisters and brothers, this war is directly connected to the original black man and woman, because the religious eschatology that America, Britain, and false Israel are pushing is about to be removed so that our minds, that blockage that has been presented to keep us from seeing ourselves for who we are, that God, Master Fard Muhammad, is going to wipe that false Israel. They're going to destroy false Israel to clear the air. And America and Britain has to protect, and the dragon, the house of Side, has to protect false Israel's false Israel's being there. Because the house of Saud, the dragon, the house of Saud, Saudi Arabia, knows the Abrahamic covenant. They understand and they know, sisters and brothers, who we are. Sisters and brothers, we have to know who we are. And the destruction of false Israel is going to cause us to understand who we are immediately. And that immediate understanding is going to cause our immediate rise, sisters and brothers. Now, sisters and brothers, Saudi Arabia is sitting on our land. The river, from the river Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, is Arabia. The house of Saud, Saudi Arabia, has stamped Saudi in front of Arabia, claiming our land. So they are protecting false Israel's I want to say this right word. It's eluding me. False Israel's occupation of Palestine. Because they are allowed to become rich off of our land. False Israel is becoming rich off of masquerading as they're us. Sisters and brothers, now, America and Britain understands this. These nations understand who we are. So, sisters and brothers, let's look at a clip. And then we'll move on.
And if the Iranian war goes on too much longer, the nation state of Israel itself might cease to exist. That is a distinct possibility. If that happened, it would blow the minds of Christian Zionists and blow up the false teachings of Christian Zionism. How would John Hagee, Robert Jefferson, Franklin Graham explain that? More importantly, what would the followers of Hagee, Jefferson, Graham do? You can stick around in those churches if indeed Israel ceases to exist as a nation state and the Zionist regime is destroyed permanently. You going to stay in these Christian Zionist churches and keep lapping up that gobbledygook, that nonsense, which now they're going to have to go through spiritual gymnastics to try and conform what they said in the past with what is now the present and make it fit the verses that they've been talking about for the last 75 years. That would be a joy to watch how they explain this from the Bible And if the Iranian war goes on too much longer, the nation state of Israel itself might cease to exist. That is a distinct possibility. If that happened, it would blow the minds of Christian Zionists and blow up the false teachings of Christian Zionism. How would John Hagee, Robert Jefferson, Franklin Graham explain that? More importantly, what would the followers of Hagee, Jefferson, Graham do? You can stick around in those churches if indeed Israel ceases to exist as a nation state and the Zionist regime is destroyed permanently. You going to stay in these Christian Zionist churches and keep lapping up that gobbledygook, that nonsense, which now they're going to have to go through spiritual gymnastics to try and conform what they said in the past with what is now the present and make it fit the verses that they've been talking about for the last 75 years. That would be a joy to watch how they explain this from the Bible. And if they're right.
All right, sisters and brothers. This eschatology that the Christians have pushed on us as a people in the nations of the world, this eschatology that false Israel is God's chosen people. The destruction of false Israel will identify who God's chosen people are. Not the identity of who we are is very easy because the truth has been made so clear, sisters and brothers. However, the truth is being blocked from us, the original black man and woman, and sisters and brothers. We are responsible for the truth. What we are responsible for, we're accepting for the truth. We are responsible for this message that has been given through Scripture, through the unsealed Scriptures, for us to be successful as a people, for us to see what's taking place and put ourselves in harmony with the God, with God. This is a free gift from God to his chosen people. Sisters and brothers, we have went through 400 years of enslavement, but that's not the problem. The affliction that we have endured through 400 plus years of that it is stated in the Abraham vision, and our reward and land that is given to us in the Abrahamic covenant. These are what false Israel has utilized, America has utilized to create false Israel. claim that they're God's chosen people. And this war is about to expose the truth and expose America and Satan, the archaic of who they are, and the dragon, the jinn of who they are, and expose the nations of the world to who God's chosen people are. And the scripture says it's perfectly clear, sisters and brothers. Now, this is a clear, detailed message. Sisters and brothers, you are responsible for what you're responsible right now, because you've been given a clear understanding of the messages. They're decoded. They're being clearly given to you by the messenger of the covenant, by Joshua, the Messiah. Sisters and brothers, and when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquities of the Amorites are not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch that passed between these pieces. Sisters and brothers, 1619 to 2019 was the 400-year period. 2020 came in with the plague that killed the firstborn of the nations, the Caucasian nations, and passed over the original people of the planet. So Haiti wasn't affected, Africa wasn't affected, the original black man and woman in America wasn't affected, and over the planet was not affected. However, the Caucasian nation, the rest of the planet, was affected by what they call COVID-19, and it particularly targeted the firstborn. Who are the firstborn? The elderly are born for, they're the firstborn. So the elderly were being decimated. The Caucasian nation was being decimated all over the planet. Now, after that 400 years, the judgment, the scriptures, after the 400 years, that nation whom they serve will I judge. Sisters and brothers, America's judgment. America knows that they are under judgment, and when false Israel, see, this is a lie that they have sprung even on their own people. And when their own people, this is what he just said. What are those that are following this Zionist evangelists? What the people going to think when they're exposed and recognize that what they've been told is a lie? That all this time that they have been afflicting hate, and torture on God's chosen people. And God's chosen people are the original black man and woman in America. What are they going to do when they find out that America is being judged? And America is the one, and Britain, Gog and Magog, are the one that is festering, has these devils have and are with Satan and the dragon, and trying to keep their control on the world. And they're trying to keep this control because they need the Middle East. They need our land to keep that control of the oil. Sisters and brothers, now you see the backfire, the backlash is causing a world, the world economy to collapse. And false Israel, the synagogue of Satan, will do whatever it is to save itself, even to the point of releasing nuclear bombs. This is what the synagogue of Satan and these devils that the scriptures say they are, the archaic, are going to result. This is definitely when false Israel sees that there's nothing that can be done to save her. Jezebel is going to, Netanyahu is going to go to their threat. What do they threaten the world with? We have nuclear weapons and we will use it. They're going to try to use those nuclear weapons when self-preservation kicks in. When they know that they have failed, and they know that now. They're trying to find, they're begging for a way out. However, when America and Britain, when America is thrown out the Middle East, and they're all alone, all of America's pawns, proxies, they know that Iran is going to take control of the Middle East. And false Israel's destruction is going to shock. Didn't you just hear? He said, what are they going to do? What is America? What are these Christians going to do when they find out that this lie that has been pushed on them for 75 years, that false Israel is, how they're going to, what they're going to do? Sisters and brothers, this war is about to expose false Israel. What does that do? That don't just expose false Israel. That exposes God's chosen people, who are the original black man and woman or nation. And it lets them know that their time is up. Their judgment is at hand, and our rise is right now. Our rise will take place overnight. We will come together as a mighty nation, a mighty army. Sisters and brothers, and America understands this. They have a plan that they have concocted, that they're releasing. They're a trap set just for the in case things didn't turn out well. Sisters and brothers, before we go there, let me go into the covenant. Abraham's vision, that was the vision. The covenant, sisters and brothers, that no one is sharing with you. Louis Farrakhan, the chief demon, his student ministers, he asked him, will any of them even speak the covenant? They will not even speak it, utter it from their mouths. They will not utter the covenant. Sisters and brothers, the messenger of the covenant is the one that is sharing with us that day God made a covenant with Abram, saying, until thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Sisters and brothers, the river, we are God's chosen people, and this covenant that false Israel, and they're not even sitting in Arabia. They are in Palestine. They're not been placed in Arabia. Sisters and brothers, and they won't ever be. Sisters and brothers, we are God's chosen people, and God has given us this land. Now, the message is so clear. It's very simple. Sisters and brothers, if you allow someone to have you thinking, and then you have the nerve to say, my mama, my grandma, and my great-grandmother or great-grandfather shared this. They was given bad information years ago before a clear, perfect message was given for us through the scriptures and the unsealed scriptures, the understanding of them. But you still want to say, hold on to the bullshit if you would like. Hold on to to the lies if you like. But why not take the truth that is given for you and us to be successful and rise up? Take the knowledge of who we are. Take our minds back. Stand up and prepare yourself to go home. We are not staying here in the land of our affliction. And if you say that we are, you're calling God a lie. You're calling God a lie. Just like Louis Farrakhan. He said we're not going nowhere. He loves America. He don't want to go nowhere. He calls us sinful, sisters and brothers. We are righteous people by nature. We're not sinful. We're living with, amongst the man of sin. So if we're living amongst the man of sin, it's only expected that you're going to be doing sinful things because you're in a world of sin. You can't be doing right and you're living with the man of sin. That's an oxymoron. Sisters and brothers, we are righteous people by nature. And we are going home. We are going home. We're going to be brought up out of this land by the God. Again, I will bring them out with great substance. Sisters and brothers, America, Pharaoh, refuses to let us go. And just as the scripture said, they're going to attack us all. Sisters and brothers, Exodus 1, chapter 1, verse 9 through 10. Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become too numerous and too powerful for us. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, or they will increase even more. And if a war breaks out, they may join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. Sisters and brothers, the Department of Defense and intelligence components, assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities put into effect. This was put into effect on September 27, 2024. This gave the right. They written up the attack. They made it legal to make this attack. And it states assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality or any situation in which it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. Sisters and brothers, you're witnessing dress rehearsals take place with ICE. You have U.S. forces inside of U.S. cities implemented in black neighborhoods to carry out on-call lethal force against all blacks. Sisters and brothers, you have foreign militaries inside of America to carry out these objectives. Because that's what the Department of Defense objectives. Sisters and brothers, you don't understand what you're witnessing being set up in your midst. However, the unsealed scriptures, the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, Master Suleiman, Joshua, the Messiah, has given us this understanding as well as what is going to take place. This is what is coming down the pipeline. First of all, sisters and brothers, think, what is the backlash about to be from this war? What is the backlash? The Christians is going to be in a shock. You're going to be in a shock. The world is going to be in a shock. Not just a shock that you're the original black man and woman. They're going to be in shock because it's an economic collapse. There's a food shortage. There's an energy shortage. Right now, in the Philippines, they're having a shortage on what's it called? Airplane fuel. I can't think of the exact name, but the fuel for the airplanes. I know the name. It's fuel for the airplanes. So they're having to shut down air transportation because they don't have fuel. Sisters and brothers, you are not understanding what the reaction is going to be from this war. When there's a fuel shortage and there's a war that is blowing up, that is being outstretched throughout the world in a war that they're calling World War III, and America is at the center of this war. All the fuel is going to be needed to fuel their military. They're going to commodine the fuel. There will be a fuel shortage in America. So there are fuel shortages. There's going to be a shortage in the supply line. The supply chain is going to be affected immediately by this fuel shortage. We don't see or understand how we're, sisters and brothers, you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You're broke, hungry right now. You're waiting for master food stamps or some kind of way just to get by now. So when the shortage, when it gets rougher, tougher, harder, it's going to be the hardest on us. Sisters and brothers, America is setting up an attack on us. America's economy will collapse. America, will experience a food shortage. Okay. Sisters and brothers,
criminals, these violent, hardened criminals that we were promised, but it is children and families, being parents, being taken from communities who have roots in these communities. There's people who have humanitarian parole, others who are married to U.S. citizens. There's pregnant women giving birth to newborn babies inside this facility.
So, John, as we grapple with the question of can shame motivate change, is this a moment where, maybe not around Epstein, but around immigration, when we hear these stories inside places like Dilley, does that spur the administration to change? Or is it just that they put a different face like Tom Homan on their immigration effort and continue doing the same thing?
No, Ali, I think there are a couple things to say about this aspect of the story. One is obviously we're building tons of new ICE detention facilities. You know, there's been controversy about that. I know you've covered it. That's one of the new focuses in this story. And I think it's one of the great, unlike what happened in Minneapolis, where we got to see so much, the deployment of so many cell phone video cameras, so many people who were out taking images of what's going on there. What's happening in those detention facilities is largely happening behind closed doors. We have very little visibility into it. And if you imagine, just without, being able to, the reporting that we're reading, like the reporting from the Bulwark, is terrifying. But, it's just a drop in the bucket. If you think about what happened in Minneapolis on the streets, imagine that's what's happening in clear public view. What's happening behind closed doors, one imagines, one can reasonably speculate, is considerably worse. And so I think there's going to be a lot of focus on this particular issue. I don't know. I mean, I'm never going to make predictions about what the administration is going to do. I think that the politics of this have been nothing but bad for the Republican Party and for Donald Trump. Their numbers have shown that. It's been pretty incontrovertible. The question is when, not so much shame, because I think on the part of the administration at least, there is not a lot of shame when it comes to this policy. And I do think that your earlier suggestion and the Tom Homan suggestion that we're going to see more ICE raids, that every one of these cities from Los Angeles to Washington to Chicago to Minneapolis has been a dress rehearsal for the next city. I don't think there's any reason not to think that there's going to be another city after Minneapolis. I don't think shame is the way that's going to stop them from doing any of these things. I do think that political pressure, whether that's the kind of pressure that the House or that Senate Democrats are putting right now in terms of trying to get ICE reformed through the budgeting process and through the partial government shutdown that we're seeing, or whether it's at the ballot box fear of what's going to happen come November, because if Republicans and Donald Trump stay on the path they're on right now, they're, I think, going to pay a pretty significant price for these policies at the polls in November. And that is the one thing that might motivate some kind of change.
Yeah, it's also a good reminder the Department of Homeland Security is actually shut down right now because they failed to meet the deadline on Friday and they didn't negotiate on Department of Homeland Security funding. And then when it comes to getting inside these detention centers, the only way we know this information is from investigative reporters like Adrian, but also the investigative outlet ProPublica, which reported that more than 3,500 people have been held at Dilley since it reopened. More than half of them children, and at least 300 minors have been detained longer than the 20-day legal limit. DHS and ICE haven't responded to questions about medical care inside of that facility. But then when we talk about the fact that these operations are ballooning and will go to other places, let's zero in on Maine. Because immigrant rights activists say they're seeing increased immigration enforcement activity in the rural part of the state, raising concerns about disruption.
That, sisters and brothers, these facilities are ballooning up all across America. They're not penitentiaries, jails. What are these facilities for? Do you put one and one together? Are you thinking, sisters and brothers? In these facilities, they're already sharing. If you see what they're doing in the eyes of the people, and what they're doing is snatching people up, killing people outright. But what do you think they're doing in the dark? They've already, there's many complaints saying that they're raping people. And you know, just knowing their nature. Oh yeah, they're raping, they're everywhere that all you hear is that's what they do. That's part of them raping men and women. They rape them both. Sisters and brothers, America cannot allow us to understand who we are. They will not allow that because they know that this identifies that they're being destroyed. And because they know this, sisters and brothers, we are an existential threat to them, and they are planning to attack us all. America will attack all blacks before false Israel is destroyed. Because, and that's why America is not going to part ways with false Israel. They cannot. The religious eschatology that they are claiming, they're thinking, they have the world thinking that God is going to come back at the very nick, right when right as right before false Israel is destroyed, Jesus or God, because false Israel don't believe in no Jesus. No, I don't either. Jesus. They know the truth of Jesus. They know where it came from. They believe that God is going to come back and save false Israel right before false Israel is destroyed. It is going to destroy all the Muslims and all false Israel's enemies. Sisters and brothers. So before false Israel is destroyed, they're going to attack us all. They're going to send out a national security alert to attack all blacks. Yes, there'll be some, that will probably be true. Not everyone's going to attack you, but you're going to be attacked. We're going to be attacked by militaries and all levels of what they call all levels of policing. Before false Israel is destroyed, sisters and brothers. This information is the light, the truth, the only light that is being given. Sisters and brothers, we are reflecting this light for us, the original black man and woman, so that we have the knowledge and understanding of what is. This is prophecy with the S has been given. It is being carried out, sisters and brothers. We are God's chosen people. And the world will know this. Sisters and brothers, this war, the war in heaven, when America is thrown out the Middle East, Britain is thrown out the Middle East, and the house of Assad is thrown out of the Middle East, and false Israel is destroyed, America will immediately go to war in Europe. The war of Armageddon will start immediately after America is thrown out. And America is going to attack all blacks here in America. There will be wars inside in America, and America will be at home and abroad. Sisters and brothers, this information is given freely to us, to keep us informed, to let us know who we are, to give us the understanding of what we must do. The unsealed scriptures are for us, sisters and brothers. And the rest of the world will they'll be watching and seeing what's taking place. Because they don't know. They're reporters. The messenger of the covenant has been giving us detailed information on what is, what will be. What is the outcome of what will be. Sisters and brothers, in detail. And it has not failed to be a perfect, clear message thus far. And with that, I'm going to bring this to a close and greet you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.